Flosstube, and welcome to another edition of Needle Notes. I'm Stitcher Trish, and my nerdy husband Steven is behind the camera. And welcome to our Flosstube number 5. It's been a while. It's been about a month since we were able to, to where I feel like I had enough stuff to bring back a Flosstube. Life has been a little busy for us because we are teachers and we are virtual teachers at the moment. All of our kids are still at home. But it's just normal work, and work takes up so much time that it just doesn't leave as much time for stitching. So it's taking me a little bit longer to get some things done so I have something to share with you. But welcome back to our Flosstube, and I'm so glad to have you. For those of you that are returning, thank you so much for coming back and visiting with me again. If you have just stumbled across my channel, I hope you enjoy looking at the things that I've got to share with you, and would love it if you'd subscribe so that you can come back and visit with us again. We're having interesting weather in North Carolina at the moment. It's raining. It's our third hurricane that's passed over. We've been fortunate in that we're getting remnants of hurricanes, but feel for those of you that are experiencing the real effect of the hurricanes down in the southern U.S., and our prayers are with you. So we're going to jump in to the stitching. I actually have a finish to show you this week. I started this right after our last Flosstube. Well, actually, I had done part of it, just gotten a good start on it. It's Attention Dragon by Alessandra, Adelaide. And on this pattern, I did a complete color conversion. It's the first time I've ever done that in stitching. I am a rule follower to the nth degree, so I typically do what the pattern tells me to, but this time I went completely off book and did something completely different. I used my stash. So the fabric is some Aida that came out of my stash. It's an 18 count, and the floss I used is from Silks For You. I bought a remnant floss pack from her, I don't know, a good 6 months ago, and finally pulled out a couple skeins of that and used it. One was a blue and the other was a variegated purple to red blue kind of neat variegation on it. So this is what we've come up with, and I think it's going to end up being a pillow. So over the holidays I intend to work on turning this into a pillow for our home. And there's a plethora of beads on this as well that I stole actually from Steven's stash. Because he's a jewelry maker, so he has tons of beads. So he was good enough to give me the beads for this. It was a lot of fun to do. Now, if you'll notice, it's not white Aida, and it was, and I washed it, and it was an experiment in let's see what happens if I wash silk, and it bled in a couple of spots. So I went and got some Rit dye indigo, and experimented with doing some dyeing, and this is the end result, and I'm pretty happy with it. I love the blue color. Blues and reds are pretty much my favorite colors. So I'm happy with how it turned out for my first dyeing experiment. And I had a good time doing it. It was a lot of fun. So I want to share with you, while I was at it, I took a couple other pieces and dyed those as well in different ways. Dipping it and then microwaving. This is what came out from one of the experiments. I used a little more dye on this, and it came out a nice, very deep blue. So I have no idea what this will get used for, but sometime down the road. Then another one, and this came out very, very pale, very sky-ish blue. Again, don't know what I'll use it for, but down the road, if I need something that's set against a sky, this may get used for that. And these are Aida. Again, pieces of that 18 count. And this is a remnant I had, and I just threw it in there and tried to see if I could get some variegation, and I did. So now I know how to do that a little bit. But just a lot of fun. This may end up bookmarks or something down the road. But anyway, I enjoy dyeing, and there may be more of that in my future. So, what else I've been working on? The rest of my time has been spent working on my Ink Circles Dragons of Sumatra. I love this piece, and it's coming along pretty well, making a little bit of progress on it. And I don't have a deadline for this. I stitched just because it's fun. So here's where I am thus far. What I worked on was primarily these two. This is to finish up a couple of pages on there, and then there's 3 more pages down on the end. So this is where I am, and I'm using a Silks For You hank. I bought an entire hank of Silks for You, and I'll show you that in just a second. But this is on a 40 count Newcastle linen from a dyer here in North Carolina called Hand Dyed Happiness, and this colorway is Ancient. And I am doing this 1 strand over 2, which stitches beautifully. I love working with 1 strand, and if I keep my fabric count small enough, I can pretty much do that. And that's my preferred, is to use 1 strand in silk if I can afford to do so. So I want to show you, this is what the hank that I have of the Silks for You. I'm going to have way more left over than I thought I would, which is great because this is going to help me supplement another piece that I hope to start after my order from Silks for You arrives. I ordered another hank of another color to be shown in a forthcoming Flosstube. And I have also worked on my Cross Stitch Nation. I know you from Heartstring Samplery. I know you've seen this because a lot of stitchers out there have done this. I am doing a skin conversion on most of the people. Left the 2 in the middle because that's Stephen and I, and left them as charted, but all the other ones are going to get changed to better fully represent the Cross Stitch Nation and join the Representation Matters SAL and Inclusion and Diversity SAL. So that this is my contribution to that. So this week I finished up this dress, and this human is still headless, and started on this dress. So I will probably finish up these 2 people before I put this one away. I am working on 36 count Morel from Fortnite Fabrics. That's what the fabric is here. And I'm doing 2 strands over 2 on this one. I tried the 1 strand and I just didn't like the coverage, so I ended up going with a 2 strand, even though that's not my preference. And these are the call for flosses on this piece, and most of them are Weeks Dye Works flosses. So Human Minders, I'm reading this, Be Nice Human, Needle Minders by Stephen Ball, and you can check out his Needle Minders in our shop, and I'll talk about our shop at the end of the Flosstube. But this is a lot of fun. I'm enjoying this piece as well. And those are the 2 things that I've really been focusing on for the last few weeks after I finished up the Attention Dragon. And that one, I pretty much did Attention Dragon in 2 weeks, and then I've kind of spent a week-ish on the other ones. I'm more of a product stitcher than a process stitcher. I want to see things finished, so I tend to work on something a multitude of days before I put it away, or get to the point where I'm starting to make ridiculous mistakes, and then I'll put it away and pull something else out. So I don't have a lot of projects going at one time because I really like that finished product. What I do with it when I'm finished with it is hang it in the closet. I've got a lot of things that I've got to get finished and take care of that. So I intend to do that over our holiday break that we get in a few weeks. So a new thing for me is Stitchy Kindness. I got a Stitchy Kindness since I did a last video from a Stitchy friend that I'm very excited to show you. Dr. Christy is on Flosstube as Christy's Corner, and I will encourage you to go check out her Flosstube, and I will link that. But she sent this to Stephen and I. This is her armor stripping guide. She is different on Flosstube from most everybody else because she's not a cross stitcher. She's an embroidery person, and she does needle felting and all kinds of different crafts. She also does baking on her Flosstube and history lessons because she's a history professor. So she knows all this really cool stuff, and we had an exchange of Stitchy Kindness, and this is what she sent us because we love medieval things in our household. It's from the Bayeux Tapestry, which check that out. Go check out Christy's Flosstube because she speaks about all this, and she's knowledgeable, and she's a history professor, so learn it from the true source. But she finished this herself, and on her Flosstube she even does tutorials on how to finish in a hoop 3 different ways. So please go check out her channel, and we were very excited to get this. Dungeons and Dragons gets played in our household, and we have a room that's decorated in dragons and things like that. So this will fit in with our room. She also was so fantastically kind and sent along a couple of flosses to me. These are from Dying for Cross Stitch. This is a cotton overdye that is called Candy Apple. And this is a silk overdye that does not have a name on it, but it's beautiful. It's got green, blue, pinks to reds to browns. It's just a beautiful floss, and I'm excited to get to use these. I have checked out the Dyeing for Cross Stitch website, and there's really great stuff on there, and at some point I'm going to place a big old order with them. So thank you to Christy for all of her wonderful kindness and friendship. Plans upcoming. I am intending to start something new, and I haven't picked my fabric yet, but I have picked the chart. That's not the right chart, nor is that the right floss. Here, let's try this. Here we go. These are the flosses, and it's a great color palette, and you're like, what is this? I know a lot of you have seen it. It's Tired Trio from Plum Street Samplers. It's the sloth hanging out on the tree. So I have not picked my fabric yet. I've got several Fortnite fabrics from my monthly subscription that I'm going to pick from one of those, and maybe get that started this week. At least that's my thought process. I also intend to continue to work on my ones that I have in the works, the ones I showed you today, and then another one, a Rosewood Manor called Crosses of the Kingdom. So I would like to get back to that one as well. I have a little bit of haul to show you from my monthly subscriptions. So like I said, I'm part of the Fortnite Fabrics monthly fabric club. And I get 40 count linen. This is last month, September's. It's called Burgundy Truffle. It's a beautiful, peachy, lightly variegated, gorgeous piece of fabric. So I have no idea what this is going to get used for. It will just go into the stash. Then I belong to the Be Stitch Me Silk of the Month Club. And this is what came for September. This one's called Lemonade. This one's called Marmalade. This one is called Petal. And these are called Happy. And so these are 10 yard skeins, and then you get 20 yards of one of her colors every month. So you 50 yards. It's a great deal, and they're beautiful flosses. This is the second month that I've gotten these. So I'm just trying to build up my stash. I haven't used them yet, but I'm excited to find something to incorporate those into in the very near future. And so that's what I've been working on, and then the plans that I have for the next time. I do want to do a quick shop update with you. We have an Etsy store called Foreverusneedleraft. There are needle minders, project bags, and scissors fobs in there. Stephen does the scissors fobs and the needle minders because he's a jewelry worker and he has beautiful work. And I am the bag maker. So we have a couple of things that are going to be coming to the shop in the next week. This is one of the bags that I've just finished up. I used the Retro Simplicity fabric. You can see it better on the back. It's just cool. I remember growing up, my mom used to sew for a living, essentially, when I was a little kid. She took in work from people that needed hems, and she did some commission actually making clothing, but she made all of our clothing, as in my brother and I and her clothing. My dad's a mechanic, so he got to wear uniforms. But she had patterns everywhere all the time, and this just reminds me of growing up and mom and sewing. So I love this fabric. And then I picked a stripe to go with it, and the inside is the same stripe. So they're about 11 by 14, and they fit a good pattern, all your supplies, and an 8x8 Q-snap will go in here. 10 by 10 will not, but the 8x8s fit pretty well. So these are coming to the shop very soon. Then, if you've watched any of my videos, you know that I have a dragon issue. So the opportunity arose to get hold of some dragon fabric. So I did, these are vinyl fronts. The dragon fabric's on the inside, and then this fabric is just a great fire-ish motif. And Stephen has done the zipper pull for this one. This one's going to be a special edition. It's got this really cool, awesome claw tooth zipper pull on it. And then he's made a needle minder. That's the dragon eye. I'm going to set that down so I don't drop it. And a scissors fob with a matching tooth/claw that'll go with it. This will be a set. And then there'll be others of just the plain bag in the store, in our Etsy store. So if you're interested in this, and plus there's just a ton of other bags and things in our store, give us a look and see if there's something that might interest you in there. So I think that's going to be a wrap for now. Thank you so much for spending a little time with us, and we've had fun making this for you, and hope you enjoyed it as much as we have. Take care. Be safe out there. Bye.